A team that was a breakthrough story from 2 years ago, Albany, not so much last year. After that magical run to championship weekend in 2018, the Great Danes not enjoying the same success.
Let's take a look now at their 2020 outlook as we continue our America East previews. Albany went 5-9 last season, their first losing season since 2012. The Great Danes also lost 3 conference games for the first time since 2011. It was the first time Albany missed the NCAA tournament in the last 7 years. Here's the comparison between that magical run to the Final Four in 2018 and last year's sub-500 season. The team averaged about 4 goals per game fewer, gave up 3 goals per game more, and of course, they were really hurt by the transfer of All-American faceoff man T.D. Erlin. Their domination at the X became a liability.
Yeah, along with the rest of the team, it was also a down year for the Great Danes star attackman Tehoka coming off that monster freshman season. The former #1 overall recruit had a disappointing sophomore year, put up just 38 points in 12 games. Here's the comparison of his first 2 years in the Capital District. Obviously, fewer games last year without the run to the NCAA tournament, but still, he had 25 fewer goals. And most importantly, his points per game number dropped by more than a point per contest. Without Connor Fields taking away some of the attention, it was a learning season for Tehoka. For more on him, over to our analyst, Davey Emila, at the touchscreen.
Tehoka Nanticoke has burst on the lacrosse scene in his first 2 years at Albany. He'll no doubt be looked at to lead their offense again this coming spring. One difference is that Tehoka will be operating by himself, as different than his freshman year when he was working with Connor Field in tandem. Let's take a look back at Tehoka's lacrosse career so far and see the difference in the way the defensive players are going to play him this coming spring. As we get into it here, we're going to look at Tehoka's freshman year, all right? Now, we'll run through some of these plays. Here's a great backhand play where Tehoka's at his best, just beats that slide to the middle. Now, is another example of him and Fields playing in space, playing with speeds, finding each other in space. Another great example here of Tehoka. What I like about this, all right, is we'll see a common theme, all right, of the way that he's able to use this defender's momentum and his body weight against him. As we can see, this defender is trying to push out, but Tehoka is so big and strong, he's able to get underneath and then across here to get this net in. Another really nice play here by Nanticoke and stuff that he's done all year long freshman season. We got one more, an unbelievable bounce pass here across to Connor Fields. Again, the duo pair really were dominant and really impressive in their offensive output in his freshman year. So now, when Connor Fields leaves, right, all eyes and all defenses are set on trying to stop #1 in purple. All right, you're going to see a lot more of plays, examples like this, where we're going to see the defense absolutely collapsing all over Tehoka here, trying to get him to get the ball out of his stick. Right, we see all these defenders all over top of him, pushing, shoving, and it's a lot of output of energy here for Tehoka to eventually make this outstanding play by finding his teammate right there on the doorstep, making something out of nothing there again, with having the entire defense being tracking his movement and concerned about him, right? So now, as we look ahead here, all right, are just some of the things that Tehoka is going to do very well this season, all right? And it starts with handling these double teams and finding guys off ball, all right? A great example here, Tehoka does a great job of not only taking on 2 guys, but we can see right here, all right, his eyes are up and he's looking, all right, looking, all right, through the mirror, right? We got a ton of attention from the Drexel defense here. All heads, all eyes are up, including the goalie. We got another across the way here, right, looking at the ball carrier. That's the kind of attention that Tehoka is going to demand all season long. And when he makes plays like this, using his body and then keeping his eyes upfield, that's what the offensive Great Danes are going to be their best on the offensive end. Throws a little no-look action in there at the end, finds his teammate wide open for a very high percentage shot in the middle of the cage there, right? So great example there of Tehoka now being the feeder, all right, being the initiator of the offense, handling a double team, and then finding his teammate off ball. All right, another great example here is that I love Tehoka in this position. We already talk about how big and strong he is, right? We got the ball right here in #1 in white, right? His ability to absorb this contact and get downfield and downhill is the first thing that we're going to look at. The absolute ridiculousness of this goal and the skill. Tehoka's going to go behind the back to get this goal. That'll be the second thing we look at. But the third thing that I want to point out here, right, is this defenseman, right, is the long pole, right? He's going to be constantly matched up with a long pole defender every single time he touches the ball. So having that value of being able to take on that long pole and force a slide, even though he has a long stick on him, is going to be incredibly valuable for the entire team. All right, as I mentioned, we're looking at that, and then the absolute ridiculousness of that behind-the-back shot. He's always had just such incredible skill, has displayed that on the outdoor as well as the indoor, and is looking to bring that again to his teammates. Lastly, what I want to look at now, we talk about setting the tone for your entire team, right? I love when offensive players, especially attackmen, are riding hard, getting tough ground balls, and turning that into offensive plays. That's exactly what Tehoka does right here, right? Gets a tough ground ball and goes fearless right in front of the Syracuse net there for an absolute special dunk here in a rivalry game, and that's what his teammates are going to be looking to get. Airborne there, finishing off plays is going to be the staple here for an Nanticoke all season long, looking to lead the Great Danes into their spring season.